Yo, so this is a review of all the games that happened on May 5th, 2022, Season 5 of OWL, the first day. I'm gonna see, I wrote down things as I was watching the game, just like what happened. So if I miss some things, whatever, it's not a big deal. Watch it yourself then, but here we go. So first up was Glads vs Excel to start us off. Glads ended up winning 3-1. So I didn't get a lot for Legion, not gonna lie. But the rosters Patafan, Kevster, Reiner, Shu, Funny Astro, Yaki, Flora, Kellen, Myeonbong, Gangnam Gym. Of course, Gangnam Gym normally a flex support also. So New York opting to not actually run a main support. So New York started strong out of the gate, and they were on Echo. It was Echo, Reaper, Winston, Ana, Lucio versus Genji. So the only difference being this DPS pick, right? The Echo is actually getting a lot of value on the control center. Yeah, it was a little shocking. Nobody really expected to see Echo here. So the Echo pick gets a lot of value into the Genji. I didn't read a lot. First map doing it, trying to do this, whatever. Echo got value. And New York won that first round. So then we move on to Gardens. And it is not a mirror to start off. It is Gladiators on Genji, Soldier, Zarya, Ana, Lucio. This is Reiner's area versus the Echo, Reaper, Winston, Ana, Lucio. The Echo, you'll notice, New York runs it throughout the series. So Echo struggles in Soldier 76 because it's very open. It's hard for Echo to do a lot. Has to maneuver around the tower. I didn't write things here again. Whatever, I do it after. But I believe the Zarya pick got switched after. So anyway. Glads end up winning this match. So it goes on the night market. Yet again, Echo. Same comp as up here. And New York basically don't make it a point the entire round. Patafan, who was sleeping, he wakes up and goes crazy. The Echo does almost anything because they're getting spawn camped the whole time. So I wrote, Glads got better as the map went on. Echo struggled to get value on open maps where Soldier 76 can easily play. And there's no mercy pocket, so it was relying solely on the Ana heals. So Glads win that map, Glads win that map. So now we're on Midtown. There's no roster changes. Glads win this one 2-0. So coming out on the offense with Gladiators, they're running Genji, Soldier, Winston, Ana, Lucio versus Echo, Ashe, Zarya, Ana, Lucio. So Glads immediately go under the subway and onto the building was at the point where Flora was sitting on Ashe, forces him out, and first point's easily taken from there. They just surround, overwhelm them. Ashe ends up dying. Kellen swaps to D.Va for second, and the Glads just push the cart right under that high ground. And the second point high ground just didn't seem effective at all, and they just end up winning. I don't know. So I changed the Korean script at this point, I noted, because the other one was lagging, but they fixed that later. Patafan switches to Widow off of the Genji pick, and that first corner on third point is looking very hard to break. So I don't know. So they were looking for some picks off of Widow, I guess. Kellen swaps off of the Zarya onto Monkey, which ends up much better for them. Patafan doesn't really get anything done on the Widow, so he swaps over to Tracer. Reiner hits the Primal, and he splits the backline. Flora, however, goes crazy, and they lose that, and Glads don't win that fight either. So New York hit an early Nano Echo. They force a beat, but Kevs their visors and gets 2 with the Helix. So that's another wash. Now, as they're pushing, Glads are pushing, right? But New York kind of ends up just sitting at the point at the end of the map, and they don't die. So they get Nano Monkey and just dive in and stop the Glads short from completing the map. Round 2, New York is on the offense. They are opting for the same composition, and Glads actually, instead of staging on the high ground beside the truck or beside the subway, they stage at the fire truck behind. And anytime they look to pressure Kevster, he just runs back and he just keeps giving space like that. But he's still supplying pressure because he's Soldier. So New York take that point house, and the Glads stay up on the subway, like they rotate up onto the subway. And Patafan goes for a Nano, and he gets nanoed, and he goes to dash through the window, but he whiffs the dash. But he still kills DPS and forces New York back into from that house back towards the subway house. And Tommathan ends up dying, and he swaps to Tracer. I mistyped Fatafan. That boy Fatafan. Shoutouts. So both teams use all ults, but there's no nano, and Glads end up winning the trades, so New York get held off. And then it is Yaki's Nano Echo versus Kevster's Nano Soldier, and Kevster ends up winning, and Glads just full hold the first point. At this point, I was watching in Korean, but I switched over to French because it wasn't in French, but it had no lag. It's not really important. On the map 3, we're currently 2-0 on Glads, so looking for the sweep. And so Glads swap Hans for Tommathan, Space for Reiner, Fatafan, Goat, and Skewed for Funny Astro. So I end up with Space here as the off tanks, right? And New York don't really have any swaps to make. I don't even remember. I know they can't switch these guys. They could put in Vulcan. Go ahead. So opening heroes for Glad's offense is On's Widow, Kevster Tracer, Space Sigma, Shu Bap, Skewed Zen, versus the same thing that New York has tended to lean towards. So New York on their defense, they actually go the only place they make a stand is all the way back on the second corner, basically at the end of the first point. So they just held all the way back there, so the fight got to them. Yaki tried to make it play like up top around, but he dies, and Glad's just overwhelm and overpressure New York, and they just kept the first point pretty easily. And so on the second point, they play quite aggressive. They walk all the way up to the high ground, and they take it right away. And the fight breaks out inside, like right outside the old spawn. So there's like an area on the left, and the fight breaks out there. I remember Space flexed, and Glad's just take that fight. They win that fight with ults, and in the back she was just moving cart the whole time. And after 2 points, after 2 fights, Glad's capped to the second point, and they're on the third. So Kellan gets space, and they come into Nano 2, but Glad's almost back cap while this is all happening. They get it very close to the end. So after almost 3 fights, Glad just won the map, which seems crazy. Flora diffs Ons, and Kevster can't pressure cart now because the Widow is watching the cart, and Kevster can't sit there. So to me, it's feeling like the Widow duel is deciding fights right now, because if the one Widow goes down, the other Widow just gets free reign, right? So unless Ons beats Kevster in this duel, they'll never be able to cap, basically. Not Ons beats Kevster, unless if Ons has to beat Flora. But so Glads walk under to the left of the payload, like from their POV, right? They go under and they flex, and it gets Kellan, but Flora goes down, and he swaps the Tracer. But New York stalled out long enough, brings the fight back, and both teams have used like all of their ults. Both teams full ult gone. So Kellan goes hard, takes care of Skewed, then more, sure. On swaps Soldier, Kevster sticks Myeongbong, which was hype, but Kellan kills backline. New York hold off the Glads in the round swap, so Glads couldn't push it all the way, and New York held out on that third point despite only taking 2 fights on the first 2 points. So opening heroes on round 2 with New York offense, you get Echo, Widow, Zarya, Ana, Lucio versus Widow, Tracer, Sigma, Bap, Zen. Like also hold back on that second corner. Yaki goes down, Gladiators push, and they walk back up into their spawn. Kevster stages to play back there after the fight in the backline and waits for a Nano Yaki to go forward. But Kellan goes down to the space flex. Flora swaps Reaper. Glads play aggro on Bridge with Widow and catch Kellan. Flora swaps up the Tracer. They trade beat. Flex trades beat and the grab trades Trank. Yaki copy comes out, space goes down. Space swaps to Diva, which I thought was hype because Diva player, he tests the end checkpoint, but Yaki just clears that up, and he gets off with Diva on the Zarya. On swaps over the Soldier. That was an overtime that New York ended up capping there, so they were holding on that corner for a long time with that Sigma, that Sigma Babs Zen Widow Tracer kind of play. Right. So So New York actually failed to get up to the high ground. So the fight, instead of taking place like Glad's did, like back at like the entrance to second point for the defenders, it's more like on the top of that high ground. But it doesn't actually end up better for them because Flora goes crazy. But then Kevster gets 2 with Pulse to flip the fight as I forget who. I don't know what this means actually because Kevster's on that team. Whatever. So then Oyaki rolls space on next fight. Kellen grab trades for Trank, but New York win the fight easily, capping second point, and Flora swaps to Reaper. So space is high charge, close to grab, stages the first corner. Kevster's being annoying in the backline, but Yaki and Flora killed the enemy backline. Echo's doing actual stuff again. So like before the Echo was just like there, but now Echo's actually like an impact in the fight. Shu challenges Yaki, he jumps up and insta dies to him. Kevster's just doing a lot of nothing on the Tracer right now. He's just there. He's not really like the most he's doing is like when he gets pulse, but outside of pulse bombs, he's not really doing a lot. Yaki takes out space, comes back on D with a stall, but New York clean up, and Kellen comes back on Doom. Teams trade Trank and Visor for a beat. New York cleans up and brings us to a map 4. So now we're on push. New Queen Street. We get Tommathan back for Ons, Reiner for space, and Funny Astro for skewed. Back to the roster that won the first 2 maps. And so we have Genji, Soldier, Winston, Ana Lucio versus Echo, Soldier, Winston, Ana Lucio. A lot of Winston, Ana Lucio, a lot of Soldier. This Echo is the only time we'll see Echo from New York. And this seems to be the main composition that's being run. So both teams meet at the hockey statue in the high ground, but like his initiative, Fatty gets 76 and Anna off with dashes. Like he dashed in, it was quite good. And Gladiators win the fight, taking the fight to them. The engagement won. Shu picks Flora, New York captain back. Gladiators take some angles, but they don't get the first checkpoint. And Rimbong Ana comes out. Funny Astro beat. Kellen Primals. Patty Fan gets a raw blade, which gets 2. But he dies, and New York flips the fight back. Patty gets Nano. Like every one's the next fight, by the way. If that wasn't, maybe it just seems like one long fight. Whatever, my bad. So Reiner goes down. Yaki Flora win gets the backline win, sure. Yaki copies Soldier, which gets Shu. Rumble Proppy gets copy, and Yaki like gets us and kills. Kellen Primal gets Kevster and Patafan, and New York end up winning the fight. Then Oyaki forces back from a Kevster visor. Patafan gets game and Jim. Runner goes down to Flora. Patafan beat Blade and Gumbong dies. New York trades and wins fights, taking the checkpoint in the lead in the match, or in the map. Patafan swaps the Tracer, Gundam Jim gets a beat. Reiner gets 2, Patafan cleans up on Tracer, and Gladiators don't get back to the half, so resetting the spawns. Kevster gets peeled on by Shu and Primal. On Primal Kellen. Gladiators take the lead back. Patafan gets 2 with Pulse, and Gladiators clean that. Now Flora swaps the Tracer. Kevster Visor gets Kellen and Mimbong. Flora contested the bot to stop the full cap. Gladiators kite back after losing Patafan. New York move bot back from their spawn in overtime to do a big dive on Myunbong. Patafan dies to Yaki. Kellen Primal gets Shu, and New York continue OT with the barricade moving this time instead of just the normal bot. Reiner dives the point, Gundam Jim beats, Reiner gets Myunbong, Primal's Yaki, FA beat, Funny Astro beat, Kevster Visors, Gladiators end up winning the fight and the map in the series. So overall, New York forcing Echo to varying results, looked good on Control Center and on Circuit Royale last point, but other than that, it took up a lot of resources and got largely shut down by Kevster on Soldier. The space roster of Gladiators looked very aggressive and quite strong, but got diffed by Kellen on the 3rd point and could not get the job done in the end. Tommathan player of the match goes to Kevster for shutting down the Echo and being consistently the biggest threat. Patafan took a bit to warm up. Reiner looked great, but in the end, it's Kevster just dishing out the insane amount of damage on Soldier this patch. So now we are moving on to Paris and Shock. So it was 3-0 for Shock. Ilios. So we have Paris running Glister, Naga, Vestola, Drudro, Khan, and Shock running Proper, Sam, Kaluj, Finn, Violet. Shock also having the no main support similar to New York, but to better results clearly. So first off we go Ruins. Paris chooses to run Reaper, Genji, Winston, Moira, Lucio, and Shock come out with Winston, Genji, or Widow, Genji, Zarya, Lucio, Ana. So the difference here being the main supports, or the flex supports and the tanks mainly. and well, I guess it's 3 changes, so it's a lot, I suppose. Anyway, Shock cap the first with no fighting taking place. They're just like Paris are just staging, and Paris responds by killing them with killing 3 of them. And as Shock like gets the point, they push in. Glister is just shooting and he's trading, so they trade 60% of the point for the win, and Glister gets 80% on walls at the first fight. So Sam gets Glister, Finn trades frags Naga, Paris lose point, and they use Visor, Grav, Nano, Beat, and Shock only use Primal, Cold, and Glister swaps to Soldier 76 with 37% on Paris. So Kalush swaps off the Zarya to Winston. Sam gets Blades, he gets Con Glister. Violet beats, but it isn't enough. And Grav beat, but it isn't enough, so Shock will lose that fight. Grav beat Nano from Paris comes out, but it gets nothing. Proper trades for Khan. Vestola goes down, Kalush Primal disrupts them, and Shock take round 1. Now we're moving on to Well. So I looked pretty good on the right there. It was okay with Paris on the first point, but we'll see as it goes on. So now you're on Well. Paris actually reloading out on Diva with Soldier, Genji, Diva, Lucio, Ana. Shock go Tracer, Genji, Winston, Ana, Lucio. Shock at the first cap. Proper 1 clips Khan, pulses Glister, and gets Naga, the GOAT. Sam is getting Nano Blade, gets Naga. Finn nades Khan for a kill. So Shock look very commanding right now. They are just far and beyond winning, right? Paris invests Nano Blade, beat it to cap it overtime versus a Blade beat. The only difference being a Nano. Khan goes down from a dive, Paris gets 2. Proper pulses Glister, Vestola is forced to bomb. Sam gets Glister again. Glister is just getting rolled. Naga gets proper Finn. Violet frags 2, Sam Blade comes out, Shock take round 2 and map 1. So now we're moving on to King's Row. Dawn is in for Vestola, and it's a 3-2 for Shock. So on Paris' offense, they're running Soldier, Genji, Winston, Lucio, Ana, and Shock is mirroring it. So both teams are running the mirror right now. And this actually was Paris' best map. So Shock, Soldier 76 and supports are staged on high ground in the back, so Paris looked to take that high ground by going up, back and around the hotel. Glister does work on the back further high ground, so the one does up back more. Sam dives Glister, and then Kalush goes in, gets slept. Shock come back, Paris take 69.1, but they lose the fight. Paris come out, Nanovisor to the close hotel. Kalush colleague tries to stuff them, but Glister breaks through it, and Paris take point 1. Now coming through at this first choke, Shock get Nano Blade, gets 3. Shock gives the second corner, and Naga currently has no final blows on the map, but as soon as that happens, he goes for a raw blade, and Violet beats, but it doesn't get Kalush, so Kalush goes down. Proper flank Visor gets nothing, but he's around there for so long that he gets primaled and lives, but then Naga comes back and gets Nano to kill Proper in the backline. So Proper creating so much space by just flank visoring. Glister Visor forces Shock back, and then Paris cap with relative ease, despite Proper making so much space in the backline. It was really for no reason. Sim couldn't capitalize on it. So Naga nade deflects and gets 2, which just win that fight. Kalush gets Naga and Blade. Sam goes to the backline. Shock wins the fight at the end of point 3. Paris used Beat, Primal Blade, and Shock used Beat Visor. So now Khan goes down and dive. Paris resets, the first reset. Paris sets up for a Glister Visor. Nano Sam dive gets the backline. Paris have to reset again. Dawn is slept on point as Glister Nano Visor gets nothing, and Kalush tanks the Visor. Proper Visor then gets 3, including a double helix kill, and Paris is stopped just short of the finish. Moving on to the round 2 on the Shock offense, both teams mirroring again. Sam gets Drudro, and Shock easily win the point 1 off that. Then Sam gets diffs Naga, and Shock is easily rolling through point 2. Nano Visor Glister takes out Shock, and Shock uses Nano. Then Primal disrupts, Shock win the fight in point 2. Proper Visor gets Dawn, Naga gets 2, and Shock is forced to reset. Naga gets Nano, he holds his blade and gets nothing, and then Sam kills Naga Blade gets nothing. Then the next fight, Naga Blade gets nothing. Down is Primal, and Glister Visor just wins. And then move on to the last fight. Sand Blade wins. Paris goes into start of the third. Oh, I lied up here. Paris are not stopped short. I must have read that prematurely. They actually won this fight. I don't remember how. No, they didn't. I'm dumb. Ignore that. They did get stopped short. I'm going crazy. I'm thinking of a different game. This is not the right fight. Yeah. Glister Visor wins. Simblade wins. Paris goes into start of the third. They push up back into the end of second. Thing gets Nano on proper as he dies in the back, and the visor cleans and Shock wins map 2. Yeah, I was thinking something else. So that was Paris' best map, but and now we're on Dorado. Kilo gets subbed in for Sam, and it's a 3-1 for Shock. So on Shock's offense, we get Soldier, Genji, Winston, Lucio, Ana on the defense versus Genji, Widow, Winston, Ana, Lucio. So first, Shock TP to yellow, back right, and Paris dive off of red. Glister takes out Finn, and Shock just resets. Shock dive on Glister, Paris dive on Finn and Kilo. Paris win the card under the bridge. Paris win with the card under the bridge. Shock Nano dive to get through bridge, and Shock Blade Walls stuffs Paris. Paris uses Blade, Primal, and Beat. Shock gets just pushes cart to bridge. Sure. This bridge is like the first overpass. This bridge is like the second choke. That's bad wording. Glister Nano Visor is off the high ground. Oh, wait, this is on second point. Oh, they get through bridge here. Oh, okay. So this is Shocker winning, right? This is on first point. Paris try to recontest, but Blade and Widow Walls stuffs Paris, and Paris uses Blade, Primal, and Beat on a recontest that fails. So Shock just pushes the cart to under the second point bridge, and Glister Nano Visors off the high ground and gets to the back line. Proper Blades trades 2. Shock win, but they don't get any progress on the cart. Nano Collusion slept. Finn goes down. Paris overextend and loses the fight, and they recontest point 2 at the end, but lose because Kilo shoots some guys but also misses some guys, and Proper does everything else, and they win the second point. Naga does a Blade and gets nothing. Collusion Nano Dive gets the back line. They win the fight, and they just steamroll to completion. Now for the second round, Paris is on the offense. They're running Soldier, Genji, Winston, Lucio, Ana, and they're versus a Genji, Widow, Winston, Ana, Brig. So this is the first time we've seen Brig. So Paris does not TP to yellow, but they still go there. They just walk. So I don't know, just TP next time. Kaluj is actually not holding up top on red, but he's holding on the corner, so there's no cart progress. Paris rotate back to the high ground. Proper picks Glister, and Shock with Bridge walk into Paris, and they win the fight. Paris goes back to the same high ground, and Proper gets Glister again. And Violet goes down, Dawn gets Proper, trades with Kilo, Khan gets 2, and Paris finally starts moving the kite. Glister swaps over to Sombra, Proper blades, gets low, and is forced back. Kilo Widow picks like 3, and Paris are forced to reset. Naga swaps over to Reaper, Paris stages in the backline and get nothing, and Naga falls. Kilo goes down to Glister, and a big MP off of Glister wins the fight. Kilo swaps over to Soldier now, and Glister swaps to Soldier again, so Soldiers on both sides. Paris rotate up to the church high ground off coast, but they don't move the cart, and Shock win it whenever they fight in the small room with Brig. Nano Proper gets into the back line, and they wipe, and Paris goes over, and the next fight, Paris goes into the courtyard, and Shock just win that fight easily. So, ending with a Shock of 3-0. So, it was a proper show. Violet Lucio did not inspire, but it was good enough. Naga struggled consistently through the series. Glister looked very good. The Brig and Dorado actually worked well, and they win rallying engagements if the Brig can walk onto the enemy. So the Tommathan player of the match. Proper definitely brought Shock to victory. Isn't the only reason that they won, but definitely the most dominating force. Samuel Kaluj played very well as well, but Proper was consistently just killing things all the time. So moving on to the most interesting match of the night, Atlanta Rain vs Florida Mayhem. So it starts on LAG-NYE, which would actually end up being 2-1 to Florida. So Atlanta's running Kai, Nero, Hawk, UV, OG versus Checkmate, Hydron, Someone, Animo, Mr. Majed. So first round of Control Center, which goes to Florida. Atlanta chooses to run Reaper, Genji, Doom, Ana, Lucio, which we will see the entire time. And Florida's running Genji, Reaper, Winston, Lucio, Ana. So Atlanta actually TP into Dark and don't go white at the start. Kai frags on the Hydron, Someone goes down, Hawk is just living and is punching on Doom. So they kept the point. Nero gets Sir Majed, Checkmate gets 2, and Florida cap it back, add whenever Atlanta's 32%. Next, we get a Florida Nano Blade beat, which wins, but Atlanta beats Hydron Blossoms and insta-dies the Kai, and Florida end up losing the point at 57% as Atlanta cap. So they win the fight, but at what cost? Nero trades Majed, Hydron gets some, Florida but out the backline. Hawk doesn't really get anything done, and Florida cap Atlanta with 82%. Nano Nero does nothing, Animo beat comes out, Checkmate Blade gets OG, Someone Primal disrupts, and Florida take map 1. Moving on to Night Market, which was an Atlanta win. You get Soldier, Genji, Doomfist, Ana, Lucio, no surprise here. Genji, Soldier, Winston, Ana, Lucio, so the only difference here being the Winston versus Doomfist. Hawk immediately goes down, and Florida cap the first fight with these because no Hawk winning. No Hawk, no win. Atlanta scrap out 3 and flip point with 26% for Florida on the board. Nano Nero gets Animo, really dive in the room, Florida is forced to reset. Hydron Nano Visor comes out and gets nothing, Hawk Meteor strikes and dies, Nero gets 2. Kai Visors, OG Boop, Florida caps, Someone Primal burnt, Atlanta reflips, then Florida caps again, and then Nero Blade goes big, but he almost flies off the map, and Atlanta take map 2. So it's really hard to do this for Control because so much is happening at once, but I don't know, hopefully it's okay. So then we have Gardens, which is a Florida victory, same comms both sides. Animo is naded and dies on point immediately. Hawk and Nero go crazy and wipe Atlanta cap first. Kai frags Hadron, forces Florida to reset. Hawk gets slept and naded and dies. Atlanta kite back, but they don't give the point. Nano Animo frags Kai. Hydron gets like 3. Florida flip. Atlanta has like 60%. Kai is dove and is dead from Hydron. Kai visors in his spawn. He gets beated. Nero beat Blades gets nothing. Checkmate gets 2 with Blade. Nero swaps with Tracer. Hydron Nano gets OG, UV, Nero, and Hawk and goes crazy, giving Florida a win over Atlanta. Second map, we go to Icon Wall, which was 5-4 for Atlanta. So you have Atlanta on Soldier Nero. Yeah, may as well be. So no changes, right, in roster. So Atlanta's offense, right? You had Soldier, Genji, Doom, Ana, Lucio, standard, but then Florida played the Mei, Soldier, Ryan, Lucio, Ana, which is interesting. So Florida do a lap around the tower on their defense. They just like go around it. Then UV takes out Hydron, or no, Hydron takes out UV, and Hydron just does a lot, and someone is just lost on Reinhardt. And Atlanta just take the first point despite Hydron doing a lot. Someone is just not doing anything. Florida actually hold at the first gate. Hawk Doom ult on top of the castle as his team dies, and then as they reset, he comes down and punches and then leaves. Hydron goes down to Kai. Checkmate Mei ults. OG beat and boops and speed to make the Mei ult get nothing. Kai Nano Visors and Atlanta wins. Someone swings on him, shatters, and Florida wins. Florida run on Nero and castle, and Atlanta just back up. Someone gets Hawk, and Atlanta has to kite back again. Majed windows on stairs, but Nero Blades and Hydron Visor wipes, so Atlanta move cart onto the bridge. UV nades 5, and then it was Nero, and Nero just dashes in and kills 5. First 5k of Owl Season 5. And Atlanta just caps second. Florida win a close fight, and they hold up close. Someone takes Nero on a trip and Blade, so he was pinned off, and shatters Hawk for style. Next fight, Hawk Meteor strikes in, gets someone. Checkmate Blizzard snipe. He blizzards, but he doesn't get anything. He just snipes UV, and Florida hold on at the corner. Hawk gets checkmate, Nero frags someone, and Majed, and it's last fight territory with Atlanta pushing into the third end. Nanoblade Nero gets 3, and OG gets the other 2, and Atlanta cap with 17 seconds left on the board. Now we're on Florida's offense. We have Atlanta running their standard comp, and Florida running their standard comp with just the standard comp, really. Hydron Helix, Nero in the hallway flank, like up top right. Florida dive takes out UV and Kai, and they can easily cap first. Atlanta dive gets 2, UV Nano Kai. OG beats a checkmate blade, someone primals and gets nothing. Hawk Meteor gets air. Hydron gets 2, Nero kills 3, and Atlanta win. But then they play too close to the like they won the fight, but it wasn't like decisively. So they play too close, and then Hydron and the rest of his boys pull up and they fight back, and they recapture the point and get it moving again. Kai swaps over to Reaper. Nano checkmate versus Nanoblade Nero. Checkmate actually gets more, and they head in the third with 4 minutes. Florida push into spawn aggressively to get picks, and Atlanta comes out and they get frags on Nero and Tracer. On Nero on Tracer, sure. Checkmate swaps over to May, someone swaps around, and Majed swaps Bab, so he's gonna rush in. Nano Blossom Kai gets a lamp, and it beats trade Kai, like the beats trade. Kai gets someone, falls to checkmate, Florida win out. Atlanta touching fast, Majed window comes out on Florida, and they cap with 2:17 left compared to Atlanta's 1 now. So Atlanta's third round offense, you have their standard comp. Florida's back on their rush with May, Reaper, Ryan, Lucio, Bap. Atlanta just sit around, and then Florida walk up and they get checkmate, but then Atlanta just collapses in on them again, and UV hits a big nade and they cap the first point. Florida fight at the gate and they window, but Hawk and Hydron trade. Hawk Hydron trades, and Nero blades. Kai Visor comes out, and Nero gets 2. Florida pushes up from the castle. Hawk ults, Atlanta C9 from a Blizzard ult. Probably would have pushed it further. Anyway, back on Florida's offense now. They're running standard comps both sides. Hawk dives and gets the back line, and Florida have to reset. Hawk dives their respective back lines. Hawk gets slept and naded, but then Nero goes crazy because there's no more CC. Hawk dives in at the bridge. He dies and gets slept, but he gets Majed. Hydron Visor gets 2. Kai Visors just to zone them out from touching the point. Hawk's back now. Animo beats Nano on checkmate. He gets the back line and Kai. Florida someone wins out the fight. Checkmate blades in the castle. He gets 1 and dies. Nero blades Hydron. Kai primaled by someone. Hawk gets supports and wins out fight. It's for Atlanta to win. So Atlanta end up winning 5-4. Then we're going to Watch Puncher Brawlter, which is map 3, not map 2, and they end up winning 1-0. No changes again. So on Florida's offense, you see the standard thing from Atlanta, but then Florida decided to play Genji, Widow, Roadhog, Brigana somehow. So someone walks up with Hog on the cart, and then Animo and Checkmate stay on the low ground, and Checkmate gets OG, Nero gets Animo, Hawk gets someone, and Hog is just done air this entire time. He's just not notable. Someone walks up the cart again on Hog. Animo counterpins Hawk on the tarp, and then Hawk is slept naded and dies. Majed loses UV, UV gets 3, and Nero cleans up. Hydron switches over to Soldier. Florida actually take the high ground this time. Hawk Meteor strikes out, like he was going to die. Meteor strikes away back to his back line. Florida moved to Soldier. Kai Visors comes out on Cat. Someone in Hydron goes down, and Nero cleans up. And now someone finally gets off of Winston with off of Hog with like a minute left. Nero Nanoblade kills supports. Checkmate. And Atlanta stop the payload at the top of the hill. Then we're on to round 2 with Atlanta's offense. And Florida have not opted for the Hog. They've opted back to their standard comp with Widow instead of Soldier. So Atlanta TP onto the bridge. Someone's holding it on the close corner, not on the high ground. Hydron picks Kai, and Atlanta regroup. Nero and Hawk fail to dive, and they both die. Hydron picks UV and Nero. Checkmate gets Nano, but Hydron is killed too fast, so it's wasted. Yeah, Hydron just killed them all, but so Nano didn't do anything. UV goes down to Checkmate Blade. Nero gets Blade 3. Narrow Blade gets 3 and I'd like to win. Narrow then question marks in the chat, which is chat based in real. Then we're on the map 4, which is Calicio, which Atlanta wins. No changes in personnel. Oh my lord. So then we have Florida stage outside, and Hawk engages on the Hydron. Kai frags out, and Atlanta wins the first fight. Someone's just sitting on the bot, and he's taking infinite poke, and then Atlanta die the backline and just win. Kai's advisors and gets someone. Florida continue to push the half. I don't know how Florida. Yeah, Florida. Yeah, so this is mid fight. Kai gets someone, and Florida's just pushing the cart, and then they get it to half, and they have to go back. But while they're going back, Nero and Hawk kill them. Hydron Animo. Don't know what that's about. Someone Primal gets Kai, which pushes them out. Checkmate Blade comes out and gets nothing. Kai Visors goes hard and Atlanta wins the fight. Nero dives on the Jed. Kai rolls someone. Someone Primals gets the DPS and OG. So they're winning again. Nero Blades get naded and dies. Florida kites back for it to get resources again, which allows Kai to push up on a flank and get Visor. Atlanta regain bot control. And then Hydra Nano Visor gets slapped, but he wakes up. OG beats it. Atlanta win the map in the series. So overall, Florida better than I anticipated. Looked really bad on the final 2 maps. Not sure what the fuck the hog pick was on Brig, on Jib. Kai Hydron was a pretty even matchup. Same with Nero and Checkmate, but both the Atlanta DPS are just edging them out. Checkmate and Hawk, not Checkmate. Someone and Hawk. Someone and Hawk were pretty even. Animo was the least noticeable player in the entire match. Legit pacifist run. So Majid got diffed by UV. So the Tommathan player of the match would be UV for the largest nades in the world. Consistent sleeps and an absolutely goated difference maker. So that was longer than I thought it would be, but fuck it. Yeah, cool. Anyway, have a good one.